Hi, this is Brad with Copper Creek Cuts, a lawn care company in Northeast Florida. What you're seeing now is 10 acres that I cleared last year. This big square outline that you can see is everything that was involved. And here, in no particular order, are 10 lessons that I learned. You've got to pre-check your equipment. At the time I filmed this, I was still getting the hang of the Ventrac. I can't remember how many hours I had, maybe 15 or 20. But this was one of the biggest jobs I'd done up until now. And you can see me mowing. I was still unfamiliar with the height adjust on the deck. So I was like, do I have this thing right? It seems to be cutting a little high. I thought it was in the lowest position. I looked, no, I think it's fine. Turns out I had set it to the highest position rather than the lowest position. If that was something that I checked before, I would have saved myself some time. I think I actually did like a full circuit before I realized it too, so that was kind of a pain in the butt. This next one, this is kind of a bummer. Doing this kind of work, you're gonna kill animals, and it's not really that fun, but I mean, here's a close-up shot of a whole family of turkeys. There's a bunny that just ran across the screen. There are all kind of animals that you are going to see, and there's probably gonna be a lot you don't see that, unfortunately, you run over and kill. So that's something I just try and put out of my mind. I don't really like thinking about it, but just realize if you do this work, you are going to impact wildlife in a very negative way. If you look at a property and you've got all your optimism and you say, yeah, I can handle this, don't forget, there's a lot of stuff you can't see. So like right here, I just ran over a telephone pole. There was a telephone pole that was hidden in the grass from who knows when. Yeah, I had no way of knowing that was there. Just be ready for the worst. In addition to the worst, it's nice to be prepared for the unexpected. There was a huge berm that, since I didn't walk every square inch of the property, I thought was just a big pile of brush. No, it was a big pile of dirt. So if I would have told them, yeah, all that'll be completely flattened out, I would have been very wrong. Make sure you know what your client wants as far as fence lines. So here you see I'm getting as close as I possibly can. But if the customer wanted this, string trimmed and pulled and all that stuff, that would have been a lot of extra work, a lot of extra time on this project, and therefore a lot of extra money added to the bid. These clients were great. They were very understanding. It helped that we had this conversation about fence lines first rather than after, where it could have been, well, I thought you were going to clear the fence lines out completely. No, well, I thought you knew I was just going to be on the tractor the whole time. It avoids that scenario. On land clearing jobs, it's always nice to add a little bit of buffer for unknowns. So here, I ran over something, stalled out the PTO, try and start it up again. No, there's something going on here. When I actually flip it, I find quite a nasty surprise. But the whole point is, this is something that's gonna take longer than I thought. I obviously didn't plan on this. I learned you should always add in time for this kind of thing, because if you don't, then you're going to kill whatever margins you had and you could end up losing money on the job. Nobody wants to do that. Taking a look at what actually did stall my tractor out, yeah, it was this giant palmetto stump that was just laying around in the ground. The previous owner, he had done some clearing. He was selling dirt from the property, so man, that thing cut right into it. He just kind of piled stuff in anywhere he wanted to without any concern. And of course, the grass grows up and now I don't see it. What you see here me doing is kicking it free because I don't have my gloves. I don't have any tools with me. It's just me on the tractor. That wasn't very far-sighted of me. I should have brought some kind of little tool kit. You can see right where it cut into it. Thank goodness for the flip-up deck. And not the greatest planning on my part. Ponds are not as straightforward as you think if you've never done them before. So, this pond was, I don't remember, 1.5 acres, something like that. So I said, yeah, it'll probably take about the same amount of time as if I just had to mow 1 acre, so I'll just calculate it that way. The issue is that's not really how you do ponds, especially if you've got pond banks that are steep. You have to come in at an angle, go down them really slow, back up them, crab walk over a few feet, do the whole thing again. So ponds are not simply, well, if the pond's an acre, that's an acre of mowing that I'll just, take out of the equation. You've got to spend extra time on those pond banks. Not accounting for blade wear. This is one thing I did not think about. So this is a new set of blades, and I believe I sharpened my old set before I started this job, but take a look at how dulled they were after that work. Now, it was very hard work. I was running over a ton of dirt piles. I was chewing through palmettos and smacking those stumps like you saw. But that's one thing that if I would have known about, I would have either had that extra set with me or I would have sharpened it during. But I didn't even know to think about that, to even look under the deck during that time. But I probably would have saved some time and given a little bit cleaner cut if I would have done that. Like this, I feel like would be fine because you see how the bases are, like that's not an issue.
It looks like it's like 50 of them in there. So
yeah. So what you just heard me doing there was talking with the client about the types of palmettos that I could and couldn't handle, because there were several different types or breeds or varieties, I don't know what you call them, on site. But because we had that conversation, they weren't disappointed when there were some that I couldn't get because we had already talked about it. And that's it. 10 acres taught me 10 lessons. I hope that helped you. If you're undertaking a job like this, it could be a little bit nerve-wracking. Don't worry, you'll learn a lot and you'll kick yourself for all the things you did wrong, but you'll know better for next time.